You're on.
Feel like I'm
Rain Down is the title of the song. The music of Delirious Force here on the Hub of New Mexico. Now you can also check us out on Facebook Live on the Hub Facebook page. That's the Hub of New Mexico Facebook page. Just go there, like us, and you can actually watch what's going on right now. Some of you are going, why would I want to watch? Well, because that gregarious, effervescent, wonderful North Carolina Tar Heel fan, Rick Edwards, is with us this morning, and you don't want to miss this. Congratulations, Pastor Rick. It's all you're doing.
That's right. Don't you see the Shekinah glory over my head, the Tar Heel glow?
I needed to get my sunglasses.
Did you get the sunglasses on? Yeah, fall back. Yeah. Stand aside. Yeah. And I'm just basking in the glow of the championship.
Last week here when we had Rick on with us on Thursday, we said that, well, next week when you come, we'll know whether it's, God's blessing is on you or not. And apparently God is blessing you.
Hey, that's right. The blessing of God fell in the last 3 minutes of the ball game. And, hey, after last year getting beat right at the buzzer, it was good to have a win to brag about. All of my teams get beat. I can't never seem to get a winner, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. But it was great. Yeah. And the state of South Carolina, hey, Coastal Carolina won the men's baseball championship last year in college.
Right.
The women, the girls, South Carolina girls won the women's basketball championship, NCAA, and then Clemson University won the NCAA men's championship in football. Yeah. So, golly, the Carolinas are rocking and rolling, man.
They really are.
And the Panthers were in the Super Bowl. Of course, they got beat, but hey,
they were there.
They were there.
They were there.
Let's talk about this most recent season. How did those Panthers do?
We don't even.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay.
We cast those sins as far as the east is from the west. They're gone.
They're like the Bears.
Oh. Yeah.
They're like the
Life
Bears.
is now. It's not yesterday, certainly not tomorrow, but life is now. Remember
That's
that. Right. I feel like I'm on the Truman Show, you know? Remember that movie?
Yes.
With, what's his name? Jim Carrey.
Jim Carrey.
And incidentally, we're going to be in Florida this summer, hoping to go by that area in watercolor. On the beach in Fort Walton Beach area. It's a beautiful place where that movie was filmed. It's unbelievable.
Beautiful area. I like Destin Beach.
Yeah, we're going to be down that area. Mm-hmm. Redneck Riviera.
My daughter lived in Navarre.
Oh, yeah.
Navarre.
I know Navarre.
Yeah, and it's a beautiful area.
Yeah, cool.
You're talking about Florida, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Now they live in Montana.
We're actually going to be
change.
Definitely. Mexico Beach is where we'll be.
Oh, okay.
So cool. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
They got big mosquitoes there, right?
Yes, and cockroaches that are bigger than turtles. It's really amazing.
But not quite like the mosquitoes in Minnesota where they'll come in and scoop you up and carry off your
Is that right?
children.
Yeah.
Really?
You got to tie down your dogs
Pretty big
and cats.
mosquitoes in Minnesota.
You got to tie down anything.
Don't you know?
Tie down anything that's under 20 pounds, right? Just take it off.
The little chihuahua would be toast.
Aww.
She'd be an appetizer for those mosquitoes. Hey, every week why don't you come in and we give you the opportunity to talk about what God laid on your heart. And I don't know what you got in your mind.
Hey, I'm just here. You know, we one of the things we're into that we're finishing up tonight. As a matter of fact, we're about 8 hours and under 8 hours and counting. I've been posting it on our Facebook website for the last week. We're under 8 hours and counting to the reconciliation tonight. Yeah. And people have been asking me in North Carolina, what is the reconciliation? I said, well, we've been studying the book of Genesis now for about a year. And so tonight we're in chapter 32 of Genesis, and where Jacob and Esau are reconciled together. Last week we talked about when Jacob wrestled God. And of course we say that wrestling in North Carolina. And so tonight, the reconciliation happens around 6:30 tonight at our church. We have Bible study on Wednesday evening, so we're going to be talking about that reconciliation between Jacob and Esau. So that's on my brain right now. You go from one topic to the other, you know what I'm saying? In ministry, you prepare a study on Tuesday nights. We're in Romans. Tonight we're in Genesis Sunday. Well, I'm not speaking Sunday, but the choir will be singing. So that's what we're doing tonight, Jacob and Esau.
I love that in the Bible. That's like one of my favorite stories.
It really is. Jacob, I'm sort of, like how these actors are character actors, right? And they get into the part and the character. I'm so frustrated with Jacob, man. I'm telling you. It's like, so let me ask you guys this question. Those that are out there listening, start reading in Genesis chapter 32, and then in 31 we'll give you some keys. Was it really a reconciliation? I mean, okay, that's what I'm asking. Was it a total reconciliation? Did they reconcile? Yes, they met. Jacob was afraid because of what?
Because of what he'd done to his brother.
Yeah.
I mean, he pretty much... I can't say that word. He pretty much...
him off of
there
everything.
you go.
He deceived him. Jacob,
he did.
Yeah.
He did. And I can see where that fear would come in. But the fact that his brother took him in his arms, to me, that's...
Yeah, I mean...
But the other aspect of it is that his brother is this big, huge, bulky hunter, dangerous kind of man, and the physical danger. Because here's Jacob; he's kind of a weenie, except for the fact that he did wrestle God.
Right.
He must have bulked up a little bit in his old age.
Well, yeah, obviously...
God kind of went easy on him,
Yeah.
I think. Come on.
God must have done a work in Esau's life, because earlier in the book, Esau's goal was to kill his brother. Mm-hmm. And so they meet, and there's some clues, some very subtle clues and hints in the Word that talks about and looks, and you can sort of begin to delve into it a little bit and see whether or not was it really a reconciliation on Jacob's part, and look at his actions before. In chapter 31, he says, I want to give him some gifts and see if I can pacify him here. That's what the Word says.
Well, he's trying to pay back, I think. Pay back what
I think
he took.
Maybe, because, he had ripped him off. And so, but in any event, they were getting ready to meet, and there's all types of little subtle hints. And so there may be some people out there who've got some estranged relationships in their families, marriages, friends, family, work associates. And the Bible tells us, as much as possible, it says, live in peace with all men, right?
Right.
So that lets you know, it doesn't give you an out to say, okay, there's a couple of people that I'm not going to live at peace with. However, you know what? Some people you cannot get reconciled together because they won't be reconciled.
Right, because their heart's not in the right place.
They won't allow it to happen. Right. Mm-hmm. But even with that, we have to do our part. And so I'm really looking forward to getting into Jacob's character tonight and his story and see what we can learn from that.
Very interesting.
I think Esau was the bigger person, and I don't mean physically.
Yeah.
I mean because he came to him and he had already forgiven him. I mean, to me, that's what I want to be. I want to be more like the Esau. I want to have that where, you know what, it's done, it's over. You're my family. I love you. Come here, let me give you a hug. No matter what the other person's intent is or their heart, that's not for me to judge or me to, expect. I should never expect.
That's right. And Jacob, even Esau, even as you go through the story, and we'll look at it tonight, Esau said, hey, where are you going? And he said, well, I'm supposed to go to Sierra. And God had told him to go to Bethel. So Esau wanted to go ahead and just hang out with him. Mm-hmm. And Jacob said, no, let's go down this way. And Jacob never did make it to Bethel. And so that really God had told him to go to Bethel. So there's a lot of little nuances in the story we're going to talk about tonight. And I'm hoping that as we delve into it, like I said, I know that there are people listening that you're afraid maybe to make the first move, or maybe there's a situation you're estranged in your family. Man, I don't have time. I just don't have time at the stage of my life to be bitter and angry and upset and unforgiving with people. You know what I'm saying?
I said the same thing this morning.
Did you
we
really?
don't have
Okay,
time.
I just don't even. I'm not going to mess with that.
Yeah.
I've said this many times down through the years. There are people that you just cannot deal with. Okay? Now that's a fact. You can do everything biblically that God has told you to do, and they still won't work with you. So what do? Well, you just, shake the dust off your feet and you go on. You don't wish them any harm. You don't try to do them any harm, but you just live at peace and go on.
You got to cut them out.
Yeah, and in ministry, and all these years in ministry, we've had ample opportunities to be, I could be doing something else right now, but you know what, I'm not going to, it's not, life is too short. Like we said, life is now. It's not yesterday, and it's certainly not tomorrow. Life is now. I'm not going to live in the past, man. I'm not going to do it.
You find it, I'm thinking about this, here's Jacob, who is here's a guy who wrestled with God, got the blessing of God, wouldn't let go until he had that blessing, as you talked about last week. And now he goes and he almost seems reticent to believe that he can reconcile with his brother.
Yeah.
And that tells me that there will be people in leadership who have a hard time with relationships.
It really is. Now think about this. We talked about it last week. There were some multiple blessings that came out of him wrestling with God. And ultimately pain came out of that because God gave him a limp. Mm-hmm. That was a mark of grace, a badge of grace. Now look at this. Jacob had an open opportunity to witness to his brother Esau, okay, and to tell Esau about the wonderful thing that God had done to him and for him and in him and through him when he was wrestling with God and all the things that he had done. Okay, mm-hmm. Hey man, hey brother, and the thing about it is, I don't know how many people's listening that'll be there tonight, but this is what happened in the story, is that when he met Esau, he wasn't limping. He started bowing, and he bowed to his brother. The thing about it is, Jacob was anointed. Jacob had the blessing, and Jacob was the prince. Okay, he was in a position of authority in his family, and that limp was an open opportunity, so that when Esau saw him, hey brother, what's going on with your limp? What's happened to you? Hey, let me tell you what happened to me. You remember how I deceived you all those years? Listen, brother, God has broken me. I had an encounter with God, and I realize in modern English, I'm a scallywag, okay? And I don't deserve anything that God has given me. God has blessed me down through the years. Look at all of the things I have. It's because of God, nothing that I've done. He's blessed me. He's changed my life. And let me tell you about God. He didn't do that.
No, he didn't.
And he was afraid and fearful. And so in any event,
is it possible
we'll look at it tonight.
In his bowing, he was deceiving his brother yet again?
Well, there's a lot of people. I've looked at this. I've studied this so much now the last short period of time. I will say this. I'm not going to totally hate on Jacob.
No.
But he may seem like I am, but the bowing, that's a form of humility. I mean, come on. I mean, he had
I think he did it so his brother wouldn't kick his butt.
Well, I think that he was like, yeah,
right.
I agree.
He did it so that his brother wouldn't, because he knew his brother was still, he assumed his brother was still so mad at him that he was going to kill him.
He did. And the thing about it is, he had met with God, he had wrestled with God, and even before he had wrestled with God, angels came and was encamping around him. If you look in the story, you'll see the angels came, and Jacob was aware these angels were there to fight for him, to protect for him.
Yeah.
And
he still acted like we do.
Yeah.
Okay.
We do the exact
acting like we do.
Right.
Okay. We panic and we're fearful, and we act out of fear instead of out of confidence. And so, lot to this story. I'm really looking forward to getting into it. And tonight at 6:30 at First Baptist Church at Bosque Farms. So that's pretty much what's on my heart today. I mean, character, man.
Yeah.
I've been walking with a limp. I got up this morning and Jean says, "What's the matter with you?" "Man, my hip is hurting me. It's hurting me." And I said, "I'm in character. I'm in character." I'm in character. "Don't talk to me." He said, I said, "I'm mad at my brother Jeff." I said, "I'm mad as a hornet as him." No, I'm not, Jeff, if you're listening. I'm not mad.
Glad to hear that.
No.
It's
not
good
mad
to see
at you.
that you can take this role on.
Oh, yeah. You got to get into the character,
Well,
man.
Then that way, when you're talking about him, you can kind of put your own feelings into it too.
Yeah.
Like you can understand,
Yeah, last night as our men's study, we're in Romans on Tuesday nights, and I told him, I said, "Man, I'm just so frustrated with Jacob, But anyway, I'll get over it. You know what I'm saying?
Until the next character comes
until the next character. I can't wait to get into Joseph, man. Let's get out of Jacob's life. Let's get into Joseph here in a few chapters.
I was hoping you never go through the book with Samson.
Oh, gosh. My goodness. Well, Jonah, Yeah. But anyhow.
So, what do you want when it's all said and done tonight? What do you want people to take away from the message?
I want them to look at the relationships that they have and see whether or not they have any enmity between anybody. They'll live in as much as possible, live in peace with everyone. And they're using every opportunity, every opportunity to have, Lord, to break them, Lord, we can glory to the Lord, give glory to the Lord by God in mind. Check out, God blessed him. God spoken
And
to
I'd
him
have
and
been
met him.
screaming and jumping around, and I mean, even if I had a limb.
Yeah,
I mean, I would be just going, I wrestled with God, dude.
Yeah. Hey, what you been doing, Saul? Hey, I've been farming, I've been cattle, I'm raising cattle. I wrestled God, man. Yeah. It's a good point like that.
First Baptist Bosque Farms. Of course, you hear him on Monday afternoons, 12:30 here on the Hub of New Mexico. You always get to hear the message that he brings, of course. And then last Monday, we're a couple weeks behind, so Brian Mull actually spoke. But Pastor Rick, and then we bring him in usually on Thursdays. And to explain all this again, tomorrow we're going to be at the Pastor's Prayer Breakfast, the New Mexico Praise Pastor's Prayer Gathering at New Beginnings Church in Albuquerque, and that'll take place from 9 to 11. We will be broadcasting before and after that tomorrow morning, so we wanted to get Pastor Rick in here today so we didn't miss him for this week. I appreciate the fact you take a few moments to come in here and be with us. It's a real blessing.
Hey, I enjoy it. We want to make sure that we also are praying for the other churches in the community. There are a lot of, there's a lot of churches here. You think people hear people say all the time, there's a church everywhere. Stop it. Really? Come to my area of the country in the South. There's churches everywhere, on literally every corner. Within a 2 or 3 mile radius, there can be 25, 30, 40 churches.
That's how it is in Arkansas, too. Boy.
Literally, in
Everywhere.
Arkansas, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And so, but any of it, there are many churches in the community, and we want to make sure Easter is coming. And we're hoping and pray that all of the churches in this community that are preaching and teaching the Word of God are filled up to capacity. It'd be great for people to be in their churches and going to hear the Lord and going to hear the Word, and so it'd be cool.
One of the biggest promoters of the brand new Valencia County Cowboy Church that I've seen and heard is Pastor Rick Henry.
Don't say that. We can't talk about another church on the radio or the internet. We can't give props to another church or another man of God. I'm just talking about. I get
You're
into my
being
southern
Jacob
character.
all over again.
I'm getting my southern character here. Lord have mercy. Jean was listening to me. She's going, you get into the Albert McGump. Anyhow, I'm regressing here. Actually,
you have ADD too?
Excuse me?
You have ADD too?
Yeah.
Multiple.
Yeah.
I am quad polar.
Quadpolar?
Yeah, instead of bipolar, I'm quad polar. No, actually, we really
Speaking
do.
of quads, wouldn't it be fun to go out and go riding?
Have you interviewed Kurt, by the way, pastor of Valencia County Cowboy Church?
Yes, we have.
You have?
Let him on.
Need to get him on here. They're doing pretty well.
Yeah.
And
Cowboy Church, that sounds fun.
yeah, it's at. I'll give him some plug. It's at 9:30 at Bosque Farms Bosque Farms Elementary Church, Bosque Farms Elementary School.
But it's a church on Sunday.
It's a church on Sunday.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
But
that's
that's
cool.
just it. I mean, you're constantly asking people to pray for, and you even actually promoted, if I can use that phrase, the fact that these people, that Valencia County Cowboy Church was coming. I mean, you weren't afraid of that.
No, why should we? Why should we?
Well, because you just said it. They'll take away your members.
No, they won't.
And matter of fact, we have some families. I know we have one family for sure that we really encourage to go because their husband maybe felt better in that particular environment.
Right.
Okay.
Right, yeah.
And so, matter of fact, I saw her at an outreach event we did Sunday at the Little League fields, and we talked about it. And I've never been into a cowboy church, and the way they do things. She told me about it, and it's their own deal. They do their own.
As long as they're going to church, right? As long as they're going to church and getting fed,
Hey,
we should support each other all the time. I
Let
think
them go,
that,
man.
yeah.
I don't. I'm not in competition with anybody. We're not. I don't.
No.
Never have been afraid of that stuff like that. It doesn't matter.
Because with one family leaves, God always brings 2 or 3.
And there are some blessed subtractions, by the way. I will say that.
Why is he looking at you and me?
Well, at least you're still coming.
Well, one of us comes.
Oh.
Yeah.
I was a little busy in March, okay?
This is true. But no, we've got a lot. There's a lot of things, a lot of outreach opportunities going on here in the community over the next few days and next week. So we've got one coming up at the. I'll go ahead and promote it at the community center next Saturday, the 15th. starting at 1 o'clock, we have an outreach event. It's a big event for us, and hundreds of kids come through there. It starts at 1 o'clock. We'll have food. We have games. We have cake walk, pie walk. We have some jumpers. We have popcorn. We have an Easter egg hunt, and all those types of things. And so people come to that. A lot of people don't get into that type of stuff, whatever. But this is an opportunity for us to meet people that just build some relationships with them. It's a point of contact. It's a big event.
It's a way to get them in, especially if they've got kids. You know, I mean, it's a way to show them they were here.
Yeah.
And I like what you did on Sunday because they had to delay the start of the Little League. Sunday you went out to the Little League fields in Bosque Farms. You were handing out flyers about the church. How did that go? Were people receptive?
Very. They allowed me to say the prayer at the Little League opening ceremonies, which was cool. We gave out, some of our volunteers came and gave out flyers for the outreach event, plus for an invitation to come Sunday morning, Easter Sunday morning. So that was cool. No problem. Yeah, it was great. People were very responsive.
You got a bunch of services going on Sunday, or
well, we just have one service.
Just one?
It'll be at 10:30 Easter Sunday morning. This coming Sunday, Palm Sunday, and many churches are doing the same thing. Yeah, I need to tell people about this. This coming Sunday morning, which is Palm Sunday, our praise team and choir will be doing a special presentation, so that'll be cool, having a baptism service. And then, I don't know what's going on in the community, by the way, we're having a Good Friday service, Good Friday evening at 7 o'clock at our worship center. So that'll be cool. Looking forward to that.
All right. Pastor Rick Edwards with us here in the Hub of New Mexico. Always a pleasure to have you with us, brother. Thank you for joining us.
Hey, let me ask you guys a question right quick. Do you guys go down to, the walk of Tomei Hill?
I've not done that.
Easter walk. Have you guys ever done that?
I have not done that. I've
Have you
always wanted
experienced
to. No, I've always wanted to.
We've been here now for 3 years. This is our 34th Easter. Jean and I went last year and walked up the top of the hill.
Oh, you did? Good.
It was an amazing thing that people were doing.
Yes.
But there were churches down there giving out their flyers and stuff like that. I may do that day, but I'm wondering, that'd be a great place to broadcast from, man. Really I'm telling you, it is an event. It's
That's a
interesting.
good idea. It's a very good idea.
We hiked all the way up to the top of it. It's pretty cool. Yeah.
Thanks, man. We're passing out great ideas. Everybody want to jump on those. So, appreciate you, Rick. I love you very much.
Thank you, man.
Pastor Rick Edwards, First Baptist Church, Bosque Farms, with us here on the Hub of New Mexico. Delighted to have you with us as well. 10:51. We'll wrap things up with you in just a few moments on the Hub.